do spend time stretching. And then we get through that, we get through to our what we call our mobility work. So we were talking about the hips and the different joints that need to move well. That's when we start working on that. We put all that stuff into our warm-up. Now, just so you can kind of a gist of what we do, figure it out. And this is all progressions as well. This is a great place to start with your young athletes, okay? Talking before you warm up for volleyball, before you practice, or before workouts. Now, what we normally do is we'll start out with what we call split squat. So we always go hands behind the head, get feet wide. And you're looking for a wide stance here. Now, ladies, face that way for me. What we want to see on this, as we do this, I'll just relax a second, Chelsea, stay there, is we're going to talk about, we want to have pretty much a vertical shin. So when you're looking at squats, when you're looking at lunges, when you're looking at any kind of single leg strength, and we're going to talk about single leg strength, that's the key, but we want to have what we call a vertical shin. So as Chelsea squats down, if you had a line on her shin, it's pointing up vertical. Okay, now what we don't want is an angled shin, because now the dynamics of this knee joint, okay, are a lot different. If we keep that knee behind her toes, now we protect that knee and it puts all the stress back on the glutes. Okay, and that's what we want. So we're looking for vertical shins on this. Just dropping the back knee straight down, and you want to cue. I always tell them you ought to be able to wiggle their toes in your shoes. So you ought to be able to wiggle their toes. That means the weight's back on the heel. Go ahead and switch sides. And same thing. And here, we want to force those elbows back as far as we can, because when we talk about shoulder health, we want good mobility in the upper part of the spine. So we have elbows back to create some extension up there. And this is exercises for strengthening, but this is also mobility work. We want mobile hips, so we're getting both, a lot of bang for your buck out of this. So from there we go to a side squat. We just sit back on the heel. Y'all demo. And what we do here is we want to have both feet flat. So now we're working the ankle mobility that we talked about earlier on by keeping the feet flat. We're getting a good stretch right through the left side growing, and we're sitting back on the heel, so we're getting good mobility work. Same thing to the left. And we want toes pointing straight ahead here as well. Okay, and then we go from this to what we call a drop step lunge. So we'll go right foot to the left, drop step lunges. So now we're working on the hip mobility on the hip rotators on the outside of the left leg. As you see, we're not just staying in the same plane. Switch sides, same thing other side. We're not staying in the same plane. When we train, we want to train volleyball is all over the place. We want to be all over the place here. We want to change it, don't just go up and down every time or side to side. We want to work all planes of motion. That's good. And we'll go to a Spider-Man position. Again, working on hip mobility, and so if we do this crawling, we'd be getting some good shoulder stability work, but we're just going to do it in place. We call this Spider-Man to hamstring. So they're going to drop their elbow, come back up into a hamstring stretch. And here you're focused on keeping that back leg straight. So what we're creating is a lot of length through the front side of the hip as we do this. And again, switch sides. So again, back leg stays straight. We're looking for, again, that vertical shin that we talked about. So when she drops her elbow down, she keeps that vertical shin. So we're getting some really good hip mobility work on all these. Okay. That's good. Dynamic warm up. So now we're getting ready to move. Lindsay, Abby, come on up. Bethany, come on up. Understand that athletes are quad dominant. Okay? What I mean by that, they're real strong here, but they're most of the time we have what we call glute amnesia. Their glutes are shut down because what we have is certain postures. A lot of us nowadays, we sit a lot, sit in class, sit in the car, and so we have this position here, and so what that does, your body adapts to that. So we create bad upper body posture, shoulders rolling forward. Our hip flexors, because we're in the seated position, will become short and weak. Okay, and understand that whatever's happening on this side of the joint, the exact opposite is going to be happening on this. So if my hip flexors are tight, it's going to lengthen my butt muscle, okay? And your butt muscle is not going to work very well. It's the same principle as if you had to do a curl, your tricep has to relax, okay? Your body works like that. So if certain muscles tight, the back side of that joint is going to be weak. Now, why is that important? The glutes are the king of knee stability, okay? Glutes are the king for power production, force reduction, okay? So if we don't have strong glutes, we're not going to be jumping very high. We're not going to be protecting our knee from injuries very well, okay? Because understand, knee injuries occur because you have weak hips or not very mobile ankles, okay? So if I don't have my glute here, understand if the knee caves in, like say an ACL, the valgus stress, that's because this right here did not fire. because this muscle is what keeps my knee out, okay? It's not the muscles around the knee, okay? You look everywhere but the knee for the problem. So glute strength and glute stability is what's going to not let that knee cave in, okay? So we got to have glute strength. So we don't want glute amnesia. We want to be able to turn them on. So tying that in with this, now we're going to do more movement, but we're going to actually start activating our glutes as we do that movement. So we're a lot of bang for your buck. You're getting good mobility work, you're getting activation work, and turning those glutes on. So what we do is we call knee hugs. Now knee hugs, let's start over there and let's go that way. Now the important part here is that they extend up through their back toes, and that knee locks out. Ladies, do you feel your glutes contract every time you come up? You want to feel and squeeze that glute every time you come up on the downside leg. And that opposite leg, we're getting a good stretch right through the backside posterior chain. So that's good. Quad stretch with the reach. Again, we're coming up through the back toes and squeezing that glute on top, and we're getting a good activation and getting a good stretch to that quad. So those are quad stretches. That's good. And then another great glute activation exercise. So now, with somebody who has weak glutes, okay, this is actually a strength exercise. For these girls, it's a warm-up because they have pretty good glute strength. So, but with you, I would progress. We talked about progressions. We're going to go glute bridges. And I want you to come on out, actually, because I want y'all to try this out. Add even more glute activation work with mini bands, okay? And these are really cheap, $2 a piece, that perform better, but they're a huge tool for us. We'll go with the knee drop. So on this one, the glute bridge, we're going to go feet wide, toes up, and we're going to come up and extend and push. So now we're getting that glute activation, but now we're going to work on that muscle that stops the knee caving in. So drop your knees in and then press them back out. As they're doing this, you're going to keep your hips as high as you can. So again, we're getting warmed up. We're getting our muscles activated that we want to use when we work out or play. So this is a great activation warm up here. That's good. Relax. Teaching change of direction, okay? When you teach change of direction, it's all about shin angles. If you want somebody to change directions faster, decelerate faster, we need to talk about shin angles. Now, this is a lot of bang for your buck in this exercise because now we're going to be teaching proper shin angles for changing directions, but on top of that, we're going to be activating the glute, all right? Now, when I'm talking about shin angles, I'll demo this one, okay? Coach Davis, come out here. We want to have what we call positive shin angles. So when we change directions, if I'm going to plant and go this way, I don't want my shin going that way. We talked about the shin angle on the one leg squats. Now we're going to talk about shin angle. Where do we want our shin angle to change directions? Okay? Our shin angle needs to be this way, a positive shin angle. So now my shin's pointing this way, so when I change directions, my shin's pointing that way, I can change directions faster. Okay? Now, just to get you in your head, Coach Davis is going to go toes out position. Like you watch basketball players play, or coaches when they do the slide, that right there, it's the worst thing they can do for changing direction. If he wants to decelerate, okay, now look at his toes. They're pointing that direction, his knees pointing that direction, shin angle's pointing that direction. This looks like he's about to do a 40-yard sprint that way, okay? So now he's got to recover and then get back. We want to be able to ability to plant, boom, and then get out of the way. So, okay, so imagine I'm inertia. He's going to go knees bent, athletic position, but knees toes out. Okay, I am inertia. He's trying to go this way. I want to see how much power he has, how hard it is for me to push him over. Okay, not very hard to push him over. We'll go knock, knee, pigeon toe. Okay, so we get main things at positive shin angle. So we have, if you dropped a line from his knee, it'd be inside of his ankle. So when I say knee inside of ankle, that's what I mean. And that positive shin angle on both ones. Now, for me to push him over, it's a lot harder, okay? So imagine I'm inertia, I'm going that way, bad shin angle, that inertia is going to carry me forward, I'm going to have to recover. Now, if I plant with a good shin angle, boom, now I'm set up, ready to go, okay? I can stop, I can change directions, I can move a lot better. Now, it doesn't have to be over-exaggerated, okay? Just slightly toes in and knock knees. So knees inside the ankles. Now, what we're doing here is just going to walk to the left, big step out, small step in. You want to imagine a cup of water on their head. You don't want it to spill. You can do this body weight too, without the bands, but bands are better. Okay? Now we want to think about posture on top too, so shoulder blades squeezed. All right, come back to the right. We call these monster walks. Okay, so we're getting good glute strength on the outside of the hip, the muscle that we're talking about earlier. And we're teaching good change of direction mechanics. 16, okay, even at that age, same thing. This stuff might be their strength workout. Okay? For these girls, it's not. But for your girls, it may be. Or somebody who hadn't trained before, like I said, it's all about progression. So you're not going to start somebody out in the weight room killing it. You're going to progress and get things moving well and get things turned on. And once that becomes easy, then it becomes a warm-up. So we'll go with high knee skip, one more arm action, just high knee skip, just putting force in the ground and lifting that knee up. So that's good. And we'll go through what we call a skipping series, and from there we turn around and go backwards high knee skip. We're opening up the knee, not rotating though. That's good. And then we'll go straight leg skip. So now we're moving faster, right? Okay, good. That's it. And then we'll go lateral skip. Facing that way. Yeah, just like over the big hurdles. So our skipping series, this is a good warm up as well. Okay. And same thing to the left. That's good. All right, that's good. So what we do in our plyometric program is we go 4 weeks of eliminating gravity and working on landing mechanics. And how do you do that? You jump onto something, right? Okay, like box jumps, okay? If you do a 2-leg box jump, we're going to jump to a box, land on the box. Now we've eliminated the gravity by coming all the way down. And all we're hammering there is when we land on the plyometric is landing hips back and down, okay, sticking it and being quiet. What you don't want to have is on the toes. You see this? Okay, that's not how you want them landing. We want to teach them how to land, teach them how to decelerate, right? And it takes a lot of coaching. And understand there's a difference between jumping and hopping. When I say hop, I'm talking about one leg. So same thing, okay, once we do that for 4 weeks, they have the ability to decelerate, okay? Then we kind of progress them into, now we actually start working on landing. We introduce gravity. So now we may be jumping over a 6-inch hurdle with a 1-leg hop, and we'll stick it. Now, see my knee? We are working on injury reduction here, okay? So we hammer, okay? I want your knee over your toe. I don't want to see that. What is that? It's the inability to decelerate. It's the ACL valgus stress. It's the not turning on of the glutes. So when you teach plyometric landing, teach them knees over toes, knees over toes. Weight right through the midfoot. So when they land, right through here. If you see heels off the ground, you know they're wrong. Okay? Or if you hear that, we want it soft. I tell them I want it to sound like a cat. So at phase 2, we're jumping over something and we're sticking it. Okay? So it's not a repetitive true plyometric. We're going to jump, stick it, get your balance, jump again, stick it, get your balance, control the knee. Okay? And we'll do that until they're ready to progress from that. Phase 3 plyometrics, we start introducing the actual plyometric effect to it. All right? And that's where we're just going to do it with the bounce. Now, so instead of sticking and holding, now we're going to jump, do a little double bounce, and then jump again, double bounce, jump again, slowly introducing that plyometric movement into the progressions. And our 4th phase, the final phase, okay, is now the true plyometric, the quick reaction. Get off the floor. Spend as little time on the ground as possible. Hit and get up, hit and get up, hit and get up. Looks like a rabbit. So the progressions is important, especially when you're dealing with somebody who lacks relative strength, who hasn't been strength training, who doesn't have strength. I would say get them stronger first and then start jumping. They're doing a lot of jumping already, playing. What's going to benefit them more is to get stronger. Is we want a stable core, okay? And that's going to allow us to get more force to the ball. Now, when we train for stable cores, we start out with just a basic plank series. I'm sure y'all seen the front planks. What we're looking for here is, again, we call this belly button in tight. Okay, so we're looking for a nice flat spine, just a normal posture over the upper back and lower back. So belly button in, so that's good. All right. So now we're working on that core stability, and the same thing on the left elbow. We go side planks to the left. And here, what you're looking for, really important, is that her hips aren't back. You want to see a straight line all the way down. This is really important, because what you'll see, Bethany, push your hips back. Yeah, see, her hips are flexed right there. It's kind of hard to see from that angle, but we want to push the hips forward, go ahead and roll over, same thing on the other side. So basically, I tell them, I want them to imagine they're getting measured for height. If they're standing up trying to get measured for height, same principle here. We want to get measured for height, stay tall, long. Now, upper body posture is important, so we want to squeeze those shoulder blades together. That's good. Thank you, ladies. There's different philosophies on that. Like, some people will like to hold it for just 15-second holds and hold it perfectly for 15 seconds. My thought processes on this is I want them to be able to hold it for a minute straight, okay? Because there are progressions from that basic plank that we use. Once they can hold it for a minute straight, then we progress to make harder versions of that with either maybe feet on a stability ball. If you elevate the back feet on a front plank or a side plank, if you elevate the feet a few inches, that makes it harder, okay? So that's how you kind of progress. But I would recommend we go about 40 seconds on the front and then about 30 seconds on the side anywhere, but we may do 2 sets of 20 seconds each side or whatever. Now, one good progression, Bethany, go back down to your right elbow. And so, yeah, we'll go side plank. So she's going to hold that position, and then we have them just lift the top leg up, which is putting a lot of her really is having to squeeze here to stop her hips from falling down. So we're getting that glute strength that we were talking about earlier. That's good, thanks. This is what we did Monday. So here we're going to get back into the monster walk position. We do this for time. So what we're working on here is, Katie, you face that way, Chelsea, you just pull her. Alright, so what we're looking on here is the same position, athletic position. We don't want to have toes out, so same as monster walks, because this is going to incorporate some hip strength to not let her move. So we call these anti-rotation holds, so go ahead and lock your elbows out. We're looking for elbows to be locked. Okay, breathing normally. Chelsea, pull, fight. She was fighting. She's fighting. She's keeping her hands right in the center of her body. Not now, but we want them right there in the center. Okay? Good, relax. And then she'll face the other way. Make sure we do even balance. And we'll do the same thing other way. Now on this, you can start out with 8-second holds, work up to 15-second holds, breathing. That's good, relax. How do we develop power? This is important. You want to jump higher, you want to run faster, you want to change directions better. Like I talked about earlier, it's about putting more force into the ground. You need to have strength to do that, number one. Okay? Girls your age who haven't trained lack the strength to do that. Right? So we had to get them on a good strength program. Also, but now, when we try to develop power, we have 3 different modalities. Okay? We have body weight implementation, which is going to be your jumping body weight. You have our medium weight intensity jumping, which is going to be medicine ball work. Okay? Medicine ball plyometric work. And then our final and third one is going to be our Olympic lifting, the hang clean, the power clean, the hang snatch. Okay? Different Olympic variations. And so we train power, putting more force in the ground, 3 different ways. And on top of that, you add in the strength training, okay, you're going to have a lot more powerful athlete. Then we go to our strength training. Our strength training is based upon, again, creating situations that we create better posture, we do things well, and I'm going to hammer main point today, one leg strength, okay? I've worked football for almost 11 years, okay, and we had a head football coach who wanted everybody squatting 500 pounds at least, okay? So we maxed out. We had, I think, 60% of our team squatted over 475. We had a bunch in the 700s. Okay, so I've seen that world. I've seen the world of squatting. I've been in that world, okay? What we want is one leg strength. Because you think about it, you do everything on one leg, right? You run on one leg. You push off one leg. You jump a lot of times off one leg, oftentimes 2 legs. But we spend a lot of time on one leg. So if we spend all day doing this, all day long, squatting up and down, we're not creating a very good situation when they get on the court. Now, ways to train single leg strength. All right, supported and unsupported. Now, again, we start with just a basic split squats, and then we go from that to a rear foot elevated squat would be the next progression up. So back foot's elevated, and now we're squatting. Same thing. And you're still looking for the vertical shin. Jordan, hop up there and just put back foot up on the box. It's the same way I was. Now we can load this with dumbbells. We can load it with a barbell. So, but body weight first. So what we're looking for here is good depth. Does she have the flexibility in her hips to get all the way down? She does. Is she keeping her front shin vertical, or is she driving her knee forward? Okay. What we're looking for here is what does her knee do? Okay. Is her knee caving in, or is it staying over the toes? Hers stays over her toes pretty well.
Are you looking for a better example?
Ab, come on. So we progress from just a basic split squat position. That's stage 1. We progress from that to elevating the back foot, okay? And then we progress from that to going to lunges series, weight or loaded lunges. You can lunge body weight, it's not a big deal. But if you're going to load something, I'd load that last, the lunge last. So, again, Jordan, our unsupported one leg squat. This is ultimately what we want. Okay? The ability to do this. At most places, physical therapists, when they rehab ACLs, to clear them, they've got to do this to a 14-inch box. Now, can all athletes do that? No. But can you work on it? Yes. And how do you do that? If you have an athlete who can't do that, how do you progress them to that point? That's the question. Floor, and now we'll squat down to something, a box, okay? And say somebody who can't squat down at all, say this is as far as they can go, then the box is going to be about right here, so we'll use a higher box. So we'll progress by, number one, doing an eccentric strength. So we'll work on the ability to go down slow, and then put both feet down and stand up. So we're just working the eccentric part first, okay? So once they can do that, then we'll start progressing on the boxes to actually touching and then coming back up, all right? As they get better, lower the boxes. And once they get down and lower the boxes to parallel, then they'll be ready for that, okay? But that's a huge, huge exercise, okay? To the box is fine, but we want to make sure we incorporate that. So our single leg strength, we got the foot supported or unsupported. Now we can implement both of those each week. All right. Now before we start this, that's a little high. Yeah, let's get that down. These chains are a great tool if you have access to any of these. Okay. Those chains weigh 25 pounds a piece. So when you're standing up with a bar, and there's like one link of chain on the ground, okay, that means that the bar weighs 45 pounds, the chains weigh 50, so when you stand up, that's 95 pounds, right? Now, what happens when you squat down? The chain unloads. So now down here, I got 45 pounds, which means what? I can get my butt out of the hole pretty quick, all right? We can train that power. We can train that explosiveness. So this is a great tool to have if you have access to it. What it'll look like is just good depth and focus on getting out of the hole. We focus elbows up, drive faster. So it's almost like you're jumping, okay? You can almost jump with it, but you're not going to leave the ground. Okay, that's good, Beth.